Handlebar and headset, fitting and removal, for G-line and electric G-line. To perform this job, you will need a 4mm hex key, a torque wrench, grease and Loctite thread locker. How to remove and install the handlebars. To remove the handlebar, undo all 4 bolts in the handlebar plate using a 4mm hex key, 2 to 3 turns per bolt until all bolts have been completely removed. Keep them safe as you will need them for reassembly. You can now remove the handlebar. Ensure to find a solution to secure it so not to damage the bike. Before fitting the handlebar, ensure that the thread of each bolt is free from dirt, then apply some grease. Place the handlebar in the handlebar lug. When doing so, ensure that the cable are routed as shown. Fit the handlebar plate over the handlebar, ensuring the plate is in the correct orientation. Insert all 4 bolts, then partially tighten by using a 4mm hex key. Don't over-tighten the bolts, as you will need to adjust the angle of the handlebar later. Twist the handlebar until the white logos and writing are hidden under the plate. This is the suggested angle of the handlebar, but it can be slightly adjusted from this position to suit your preferred riding style. You can now tighten the 4 bolts to the torque setting listed in the description. It is important you follow the shown sequence when tightening. There should only be an even gap on the front of the plate and no gap at the rear. How to remove, service and install the headset. Remove the front wheel. For detailed steps on how to do so, click on the link in the description. Undo the handlebar hinge clamp, then unfold the handlebar support. Unscrew the 4 bolts using a 4mm hex key, but do not remove fully. Unscrew the preload bolt fully, using a 4mm hex key, then remove. Please note, when the preload bolt is unscrewed fully, the fork steerer will be disconnected, so it's important to find a solution for securing the fork and the handlebar. While holding onto the fork, you can now remove the stem from the fork steerer. The headset is now accessible. The headset is the same size as our T-line headset, with a 40mm angular contact bearing on the bottom race and 30.22mm angular contact bearing for the top race. We recommend you grease the bearings periodically. Grease the cups and the fork crown so you don't have to grease the bearings. Then slide the bottom race on the fork steerer with the beveled edge upwards, sitting onto the cup. Insert the fork steerer through the bottom of the head tube. Ensure the top race beveled edges are facing downwards, then slide it onto the fork steerer until it sits on the cup, followed by the headset compression ring and the headset steerer ring seal. Apply medium-strength thread locker to the thread of the steerer bolts, then refit on the steerer. Fit the steerer hinge clamp body over the fork steerer, then secure the stack tightening the preload bolt using a 4mm hex key. Tighten to the torque setting listed in the description. Unfold the handlebar support and secure by tightening the hinge clamp. Refit the front wheel. For detailed steps on how to do so, click on the link in the description. For the next step, we recommend the bike is on the floor. Align the handlebar to the front wheel, then partially tighten the 2 right steerer hinge clamp bolts looking towards the front of the bike, followed by the other 2, using a 4mm hex key. Ensure the handlebar is straight, then tighten the bolts to the torque setting listed in the description following the same sequence. To gain easier access when doing so, we recommend folding the handlebar support. Check that there's no play in the headset. It is vital that you apply the correct torque in the tightening sequence stated. If the bolts are not tightened enough, the handlebars could twist in use. If over-tightened, you could damage the steerer clamp hinge or fork steerer.